Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Rose.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to our new edition of Big Brother 27 live feed spoilers. Happy Labor Day, everybody. And it feels like in celebration of that, these house guests have really been putting in a lot of work over the last 24 hours. This has been so chaotic, so unbelievably messy, both before the veto ceremony and then after. We have so much to talk about when it comes to all the craziness that has unfolded. There's been arguments, there's been disputes, and I think we're going to have a lot of vote discussions as well.
Absolutely. So we'll give you the basics just to start here, which is that the veto ceremonies happened.
Yeah.
Morgan actually used it on herself. Now, I know that there was lots of back and forth and there was conversation she was having, Vince was having, everyone was having about the idea that maybe she was actually going to use this on Vince, but nope, she did the right thing. She used it on herself.
Yes.
And the replacement nominee is Ashley.
This is going to be,
Wah, wah.
I know, it's just for like excitement. There were different ways that this could have gone that I think would have sparked off a lot of fireworks. Like there were still some fireworks that came out of this anyway with Ashley. I mean, we'll get more into that, but also where things really lie, how Ava, I think, is going to suddenly become one of the most important players in this game moving forward. Before we get into any of this, though, be sure to hit that subscribe button because we have a lot of Big Brother 27 updates coming in the weeks ahead. And then we also have this month the premiere of Survivor 49 and also the new Amazing Race featuring Big Brother house guests. It is all happening this month. We want you guys to be a part of it with us.
Absolutely. We have Big Brother updates here every single day for you. So hit that subscribe button. It really helps us here at the channel. And we really, really appreciate that support. And also, if you want to have further Big Brother discussions with us or Survivor or Amazing Race, we have more of that going on over on our Patreon. I'll leave a link for you below. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. We really, really appreciate that. Okay, so in the aftermath of the veto ceremony, and we're getting this secondhand because we all know like the seconds after the veto ceremony, they're saving that for the show.
Of course.
But Ashley, and this is according to conversations between Ava and Lauren, as well as Vince and Keanu, really tore into Keanu and suggested that she doesn't like how he talks about and talks to the women in the game. And Keanu, after the fact, was upset about this with Vince, made it clear that she was trying to spread some sort of narrative. But then in another discussion, Ava and Lauren talked about it, and Lauren talked specifically about a statement that Rachel told her, basically being like, be careful who you align yourself with. You don't want to be associated with people who are talking to women in this way, and that this is something that could follow you on the outside. And, you know, she and Ava were a little bit more frustrated with it because it's a delicate position, like just from a game standpoint. Like I want to mostly talk about this from the perspective of the game.
Right.
I understand that Ashley and Rachel are frustrated because this is Keanu, somebody who has given Vince a billion chances throughout the game, somebody who was really trying to protect Riley time and time again.
Well, also, he said that he wasn't going to end up putting up Ashley. That was a while ago, but that's what she said. We saw Ashley and Rachel having their little happy dance that wasn't happening, and now it's happening. So I understand why they're upset about it.
Yeah, like they have every reason to be upset about it. And we know that, you know, Rachel's old school Big Brother, which does involve confrontations and drama. Like these are things that do happen. Like it is tricky sometimes though, game wise, when you paint with a very broad brush, because it might mean some people be like, you know what, I don't really agree with what was said, which is where Lauren and Ava are coming from with all of this.
Yeah, they're not 100% on board with it. They feel like the narrative is going in a direction that's not true or a little too far. It's not, they're more of seeing that Keanu is working with who he's working with and who he's vibing with. And yeah, you know, it sucks that Ashley's on the block, but at the same time, then who else is he going to be putting on the block? There's only 3 men in the house right now. Vince, who's on the block, him, who is the HOH, and Will, who has no reason to be on the block.
Yeah, it's just a situation where I think they're very, very upset by the situation. Keanu's social game is not good. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't know how to communicate that well with a lot of the other house guests. But this is a situation where if you are Rachel and if you are Ashley, like I understand you want to get your feelings across. You want to also spin things in a very particular way so that Keanu can be a target down the road.
Yes.
But you also have to tread a little bit carefully just because Ashley is on the block right now.
Yes.
Depending on how the votes go, there is a chance that she could end up getting in danger. And it's just like, as of right now, she's probably going to be okay. But it's just like, if you go too far on this, or if you make Ava feel like, okay, you don't really have my back, or you're causing too much drama, or things that she believes are drama, because it's just like,
Right.
I believe a lot of what Ashley has done is for our own good as viewers. It's just like I like messy television, but Ava's had her issues with Ashley in the game so far. So it is a big risk that you're stirring up things just like right after the ceremony is over.
Absolutely. And if this is how you feel, you need to be very convincing about it if you're going to be saying things like that. So that if you are going to try to get Ava and Lauren to believe this, it has to be in a way that they're really going to believe it so that they won't do whatever it is they want, that the HOH wants, that they're actually going to do what they want and to be able to save Ashley. But that's not where it's going.
And Ava, beyond all this, beyond just the veto ceremony aftermath, like she's also upset with Rachel about some things that happened before the veto ceremony even started,
Mhm.
including the idea that, okay, it's okay for Rachel to go and have a lot of conversations with Keanu. Ava goes and has one conversation with Keanu, and Ava feels like, okay, why are you coming at me or assuming that I'm just going to flip to Keanu's side because I went and talked to him? Like, there was a risk that I could be going on the block. I'm playing Big Brother. I don't want that to happen.
Absolutely. Everybody should be having conversations with
Yes.
whoever they want. It's always so uncomfortable in general to watch sort of like, oh, we can't talk to this person or it looks
Yeah.
like whatever. Everybody should just talk to whoever they want.
I feel like, and I like Rachel a ton. Like we've made this very clear.
Yeah.
Rachel's done a little bit too much over the past 24 hours. I kind of
Yeah.
feel like, okay, you did a good job making sure that you did not get in danger this week. Like you deserve all the flowers for that. But just like lay low over the next couple of days. Ashley will probably be fine. And then you can pick up some of this stuff on the other side. Don't give people reasons to start to be like, do I really want to work with you that much anymore?
Absolutely.
So all of that has happened. Ava's got a lot on her mind, and she's kind of trying to piece together a lot of this. And one thing that is starting to becoming clear, and this is something that's dating back all the way to close to the start of the season, so we should get in a time machine for this.
Oh, okay. Beep, bop, 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 boop. Okay, we are in the past.
Remember the Bond Girls Alliance,
I know.
everybody? This was this final two that Lauren and Ava put together, and it kind of spawned into that Bond Alliance that went almost nowhere. But
Right.
it's just like, the Bond girls may be back. Like they had this talk where they were talking about the veto ceremony aftermath, but then they brought up the name and they did the pose and they did these things they haven't done in a good while. And I think this is where we have to have a little bit of real talk. And by real talk, I mean some of you in the comments may be upset with me.
All
here.
right, hard hats are on. Let's go.
The best case scenario for this week is that Mickey gets evicted. I know a lot of people are coming for Vince right now because they don't like the way Vince plays. I understand all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Mickey's never really gonna get that much trust with anybody at this point. Like she's burned too many bridges. Like she can be entertaining at times, but she can be not that nice at other times. Like she just goes all over the gamut. It just feels like we're not gonna lose that much if she goes. I want like the larger story of this season to continue.
It is way more exciting if Vince and Ashley stay in this game.
Yes.
It really is. I mean, especially where we've got two judges up here on the block, things could get, a little more messy with them going forward. Now that they're both on the block and they're both going to be vying for votes from the judges, everybody's going to be throwing each other under the bus. It's just, I need them both to stay.
I need them both to stay, and I need Lauren and Ava, and I even think Will. Like, I think if those three kind of really solidified something super, super solid,
Yeah.
because it's just like, it seems like Ava is really Will's number one, even though
Yep.
she's not in the judges, then they can kind of achieve what they really should want to at this point, which is just play the middle, let these other sides take each other out, and keeping Vince is a way in which to do that. Keeping Ashley, who's really close with Rachel,
Yep.
is another way in order to do that. And Ava even said this amidst some of her ranting after the veto ceremony, this like, I feel like both Rachel and Keanu are crazy. And if you think that they're both next level, which they kind of are, I just feel like, just continue to let them be in the spotlight. Like, don't do anything to make yourself be front and center for anybody at this point.
This house and them together is bringing out the worst in them in each other.
It really, really is true. And it's just like that. The Rachel and Keanu dynamic is going to be studied for years to come.
It's so weird and so messy.
It was just like a couple of days ago. It felt like everything was great, but it's just like, okay, because Keanu put up Ashley and you couldn't get him to consider somebody else. Now, like, we've got all this drama. Now everybody's mad at Keanu again. Is Keanu going to be a target? It's just like rinse and repeat. And I don't know, maybe 24 hours from now, everything is good again.
He should have just never said that he wasn't going to target Ashley. Like, he just should have never said it.
He should have never said that. Like, I still have a lot of questions for him with the whole, oh, I need to teach Vince a lesson. You could have found a way to do this that wasn't putting him on the block if you didn't want him to go home, because you're basically making the same mistake that a lot of other people have this season.
He's changed his mind. I mean, that happens.
It does. But then he also apparently is saying, I don't care who stays or goes. And it's also like,
Sure.
yeah, why do you say that publicly? Because that's not really making any friends of anybody. And it's just, it all comes back to his social game. And it started so well for Keanu this week, but it's just, he can't keep a good thing going. He never can.
No, his social game is not good in this game. I don't know what it's like in life, and I feel like it's probably a lot better than this. This is a stressful game. It is a stressful, weird situation, and social dynamics are so strange when you're living with people and you're living with people you don't know.
He's just really stubborn, and he doesn't want to listen to a lot of people. And I mean, especially Rachel, who's told him the right thing many, many times. But we'll get more into all of the drama before the ceremony in a second, because believe me, there is a lot. But okay, let's just run through the scenarios really quick here.
Yes.
So if this is Vince versus Ashley, like, Vince would need Kelly, Lauren, Morgan, and then either Ava or Mickey. It's just like, I don't really see it. It's possible, but it's pretty unlikely.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing if it's Vince versus Mickey at this point, because he once again would need Kelly, Lauren, Morgan, but then he'd also need Ava. And it's just like, Ava's somebody who nominated Vince. They've had their whole back and forth. That's just like, that's a really dodgy relationship.
Yes.
I feel like Mickey probably goes versus Ashley. I don't really think there's a lot of drama there.
No.
I also think a lot of the questions are going to be like, well, okay, well, Kelly, she's going to want Vince out, right? I think in theory, sure. But she doesn't have any relationship at all with Ashley or Mickey. I kind of just feel like this is a keep your enemies closer sort of thing.
It's weird, right? Because I mean, she really can go either way. It could be something like, yeah, I don't have a relationship with these other two, but at the same time, maybe I can create something because I don't have any real relationship with Vince because I'm mad at him still.
Yeah, okay. So let's get into before the ceremony now, because as you mentioned at the start of this video, there was a lot of deliberation about whether or not Morgan was actually going to use this veto on herself.
Yeah.
I feel like, and this is just my own perception of it, that if she legitimately felt like Lauren was going to be the replacement nominee, if she took Vince off and she 100% trusted it, I actually think that she probably wouldn't have used it, and then she would have potentially been setting herself up for disaster.
Absolutely. That's why yesterday we asked that question, who thinks Morgan could actually use this on Vince? I put my whole hand up because I just feel like if there was a way to have worked it out that Lauren would be on the block, and that it would have been, I think she would have felt that she had the votes and she would have been able to work it out, and that she probably would have been able to stay. I think she would have tried to make that move.
Okay, let's talk through now the plan that was presented, because I think there's a lot of divided reactions to a lot of this, because, it's not nice. I think we can put it that way.
It's not nice.
But Vince and Keanu talked heavily about the idea that, okay, let's convince Morgan to do this, to take you off the block, Vince. We will tell her that Lauren is the replacement nominee, but no, it's actually going to be Ashley. We will
Mhm.
hoodwink her, and then we'll be in a situation where you, Vince, are safe.
That would have been wild, man. That would have been such good feeds, such good
I
TV,
know.
but it doesn't make any sense for Vince specifically to do it this way. Like either you get Lauren on the block or you don't.
Yeah, I just feel like it's a move that it would have come across with Vince very badly if he went through with this
Yes.
all. And I mean, just even the idea that he was thinking about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Big Brother, as you've said, this is a house based on lies.
Yeah, it is.
You can lie and scheme. Like, this would be one of the snakiest, schemiest moves I think we've ever seen, given how close that Morgan and Vince relationship has
Oh yeah.
been.
Oh, absolutely. It would have been so snaky,
Yeah,
but we're not here.
no.
We're not getting the good TV.
We're not. And I think the reasons why we're not getting the good TV here, it's twofold. I think it's number one, Morgan talked to enough people to help get her head on straight that it's just
Yes.
like, okay, this is a disaster waiting to happen.
Yes, always use it on yourself.
Yes,
Oh my
that,
goodness.
Keanu can't really be trusted, regardless of whatever Vince says or
Yes.
doesn't say. But I think the other thing here is just that not Vince, Keanu is really impatient. And I think it's
Mhm.
just that this whole will this happen, will this not happen thing just went on for so long that Keanu eventually was just like, you know what? No, I'm just going to put Ashley on the block no matter what. So he just tells this to Morgan, basically ruins the entire plan that he set up in the first place.
Yeah, and I'm actually really glad that he did because if he has any chance of winning this game, that this move would have just exposed him as somebody that nobody can trust.
Yeah.
He absolutely would have ended up going out next. Like nobody wants to work with someone that's willing to do that so obviously in front of everybody and clown somebody like that. That would have just been so bad.
Yeah, like I'm for, do whatever you can to stay within the game. Like I understand that line of thinking, but at the same time, you have to do whatever you can while trying to preserve some element of relationships that people will want to continue to work with you.
Absolutely.
The best thing that Vince can do at this point is just win the blockbuster. You win the
Yeah.
blockbuster, you're fine. Mickey probably goes, you live to fight another day, and then you can try to pick up the pieces and then just hope that Morgan never finds out about exactly what you and Keanu were thinking about in the first place.
She will find out. No one has kept any real secrets in this game except for Will.
And you are counting on Keanu to be someone to not say something at this point.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, if Keanu and Vince and Morgan are all still in the game and he really wants to pull Vince from Morgan, he's going to have to play that card at some point and be like, you know what Vince was going to do to you?
Here's where everything else gets interesting this week. And this is why Ava is in like such a super important, interesting spot, is that she could very much be the swing vote as we've lined up. Keanu has already tried to plant some seeds with her, basically telling her, you know what? A lot of people have been pitching you to go up from Rachel's side, instead of Ashley. Oh, Ava, you could be a number. Rachel's denied this. The truth is kind of somewhere in between where it's like she was discussed as a possibility,
Mhm.
but so was Lauren. It's not
Yeah.
like as hardcore as, oh, everyone wanted you and only you up, but it's not altogether true that it's just like, oh, we never brought up your name at all, Ava.
Yeah. No.
So is Ava gonna trust Keanu though? Like I think that's the big question with all of this, because why would she at this point?
Yeah, I just don't think anybody does. He's kind of burnt that so much over the season at this point that he can't gain it back.
No.
I know he even tried to snow us over for a little while for a few days there that he was really on the straight and narrow path. No more lying, letter from mom telling him just, you keep at it, confidence, do the right thing. And he was like, yeah, I'm going to do the right thing. And then here we are with this master lying plan about Ashley Morgan with Vince. Like, it's done. And it's okay
Yeah.
here in the Big Brother house.
You don't need to be in the honesty and integrity era all that much, Keanu. I think
This is not the show for that.
no, your reality is that you're going to continue to be targeted because you
Right.
are a huge challenge threat, and also,
And you can't be trusted.
yeah, you can't be trusted. And presumably, who knows, but I would think that the blockbuster is probably going to go away before too long, and you're not going to have that to really rely on all that much anymore either.
I'm honestly ready for it to go. Like, it's fun near the beginning of the
Yeah.
season, but as the season is going on, I mean, we're in the days 50s now. Like, it's time for it to be done.
It's really interesting how much we enjoy a twist can all be very much dependent on the person who's taking advantage of it. Where it's like last season, it was so much easier to like it because Tucker kept using it to stick around. And I know not everybody liked Tucker, but I love Tucker. Kelly taking advantage of it is just not anywhere near as exciting.
I also just like the blockbuster has, its advantages and it can be fun and exciting to watch, but it also just at this point feels like two vetoes that you have double the chances to get off the block, which you do, which I'm not as excited about. I liked it when people had their one chance and then they truly had to scramble and they really had to campaign and put themselves out there, and they're not just like, I'll just win the blockbuster, it'll be fine, I don't have to do anything.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they're going to do with the feedback after this season. Maybe they will shorten it. Like, that's something that they
That'd be
definitely...
great.
Yeah, that's something they're going to have to figure out. And Ava, at this point, like, she's going to have to put on her detective cap over the next couple of days and figure out, who am I really going to trust amongst all of these different people? Because, like, she's told Will at this point that, like, oh, if it was true that Rachel, Mickey, Ashley, we're all pitching my name to go up, like, I'll vote for Vince to stay. Like, I'll make this move if I believe, like, these people are all wanting to get rid of me. I mean, at the same time, Vince has also brought up Ava's name, so it's not like he's altogether innocent in this either.
Yeah.
But I just feel like if you're Ava, just position everything to Mickey at this point rather than these other two. I mean, it's kind of ironic that a lot of people are very much in their throwing Mickey under the bus era. Like, Rachel tried to blame this whole everybody saying your name Ava stuff and basically being like, oh, this is Mickey. Mickey is out here spreading all this conversation around Ava. It's not me. Okay, so getting back into the whole Keanu no longer valuing his honesty and integrity as much, like, Vince did suggest to Keanu at one point in the hours leading up to this that Rachel be the replacement nominee. And it didn't seem like he was overly opposed to it. It just felt like his argument against it was, okay, I don't know if the numbers are there no matter what the scenario is. And if I'm going to have Rachel mad at me, I only want her mad at me if I know 100% she's leaving the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is something that he has already said. Like, I understand that you got to take your shot at Rachel at some point. It's just for Vince, and as much as he's been on the block and as zero as Rachel has been on the block, it's not time for Rachel to go for you, Vince. You actually need her around.
Yeah, that you need to make sure that you have big targets, because we
Yes.
talked about this. You become a very big target otherwise.
Yes.
It's a very, very big risk in the game. But okay, so we have a couple other things here that are notable to talk through, including, and this is one of the first times we've said this all season, is some suspicion starting to build just a little bit around Will and whether or not he can be trusted.
Yeah.
So Ashley and Rachel and Mickey are already starting to realize that Will is not necessarily telling them everything. Like, he's tried to deny having conversations with Ava that they know that he had because they watched him talk to her.
The thing about Will is that he's very good at keeping secrets. And because he's good at keeping secrets, it also means that he has to lie about it.
Yeah, he does. And he's a very good liar. But I think it's just once there's smaller and smaller people, everything stands up more. Everything becomes more obvious. And that includes, okay, Will, Ashley got upset when she kind of realized that she was a possible nominee for Ava back when Ava was head of household, and Will didn't tell her about that. And she's just kind of in this mode of, okay, why didn't you tell me about this, Will? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And this is why Will needs to kind of get with Lauren, needs to get with Ava. Like, we need like some more numbers here because Ashley and Rachel, they're so close. Like, they may not want to have Will in the final two. Like, he needs to explore other options, still work with them, but kind of just be flexible.
Absolutely. I just feel like the Judges Alliance, once this week is over, it's really going to be crumbling. Like, not even depending on who the HOH is. I just think that it's going to be crumbling at this point. And I do think that people like Ava will become more important at this point, where she is getting closer with Lauren. She is very close with Will, and that she will be able to pull him out of that, especially as it crumbles.
So finally, one last question for you guys. If you were Vince, do you want Keanu campaigning on your behalf? Because, yeah, it's nice to have someone who believes in you. It's not as nice when they are a terrible social player, and he's already out here trying to encourage Ava to vote to keep Vince. And Ava's whole response to it is, well, if Vince wants that, Vince should just sort of stand up for himself and come to me and talk to me on his own.
Well, and also he's the HOH and he put him on the block, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, if I'm in the house and the HOH is campaigning for the person that they put on the block, my biggest question is, why are you here doing this? Not, yeah, Vince has to come and talk to me himself. Yeah, cool, he will, and that's great or whatever. But why are you here? You put him on the block. What changed from when you put him on the block to now that you would be actively campaigning for him to stay?
This is the problem with all of this for Vince, because if I was in the game, a player, and I saw somebody campaigning for somebody who they just put on the block days before,
It's so weird.
yeah, my feeling would be, okay, Vince must be an amazing player because he already has convinced you to do X, Y, or Z. And we know Vince is a very persuasive player, and that's like from a lot of people's game perspectives, maybe not someone who needs to hide behind targets, but for somebody else, like Vince should probably go this week because he is an enormous threat on that level.
Yes, he is. He has convinced the HOH to go campaign for him. That is a problem.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens over the next couple of days. There's still a lot of campaigning to be had. It's a very tense house after this veto ceremony. There
Yep.
could be heated arguments. We have to prepare ourselves for pretty much anything at this point.
Absolutely.
All right, but let us know in the comments, who do you want to see leave the game in Big Brother 27 this week? And also hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any other updates, and you can support us further by joining our Patreon. That link is in the description. Thank you so much for all your support there.
Thank
We
you.
really appreciate it, and we will see you here next time.